Every NFL draft has its own drama, but some moments hit different. The moments where you watch a top prospect, someone hyped for years, sit there while pick after pick flashes by. Aaron Rodgers lived it, Lamar Jackson too. And now, in 2025, Shedeur Sanders just lived the most shocking draft slide, honestly, probably in all of NFL history.
Cleveland Browns select Mason Graham. The Pittsburgh Steelers select Derek Harmon. The New York Giants select Jackson Dart, quarterback, Mississippi.
Tyler Shuck, quarterback, Louisville.
Jalen Milroe.
Dylan Gabriel, quarterback, Oregon.
I think it's disgusting. I don't understand what the heck's going on with this.
Tonight for Shedeur Sanders, this is a time for some deep self-reflection.
I believe that the biggest issue in all of this was primetime Deion Sanders and the thought of having to deal with him.
But to understand this completely, I think we need to rewind a little bit, back to 2007.
Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Berman. So glad to be with us. Once again, ESPN Gavel to Gavel coverage.
Brady Quinn, Notre Dame's golden boy, a Maxwell Award winner, and a third-place Heisman finisher? Yeah, he was supposed to be a top 10 pick that year. Many mocks at the time had him going number 3 to the...
Exceptionally for the Cleveland Browns, as a new franchise in the last 5 or 6 years, what do you need to do to make a statement? Brady Quinn is a statement maker.
Cameras locked in on his every blink, every fidget, and then nothing.
The Cleveland Browns select left tackle Joe Thomas, Wisconsin.
After the Browns went with offensive tackle Joe Thomas, team after team, they passed.
Well, I've always talked about this. We don't have a say in where we go in this draft. We just kind of have to sit back and wait and see what happens.
Finally, the Cleveland Browns traded up to grab him at the number 22 pick.
The Cleveland Browns select Brady Quinn, quarterback, Notre Dame.
Painful? Yeah, but still a first-round pick. Unlike many other draft fallers, Quinn didn't have any character concerns or injuries working against him. Teams just simply didn't believe he was worth a top pick. And in hindsight, their evaluations, they were right. Quinn struggled to find success in the NFL and never fully developed into a consistent starter.
I'm having trouble thinking they're going to go Johnny football here, but if they do, boy, it'd be fun. This whole place is going to go nuts.
2014, Johnny Manziel, Johnny Football, college celebrity royalty. His Texas A&M teammate Mike Evans, who many at the time felt his play and talent made Manziel a better prospect than he actually was, went number 7 overall to Tampa Bay.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Mike Evans, wide receiver, Texas A&M.
Johnny, he slid and slid until, yeah, that's right, you guessed it, the Browns again at number 22.
The Cleveland Browns select Johnny Manziel, quarterback, Texas A&M.
The buzz surrounding Manziel gave Cleveland some life, but both his off-field concerns, lack of game preparation, and questions about his size turned out to be legitimate. Manziel was out of the NFL within 2 years. History usually doesn't repeat, but it definitely rhymes, especially for Cleveland, who forever have been chasing that quarterback messiah. And in 2025, they were back in the eye of the storm. But this time, the fall was even bigger. And the name was Shedeur Sanders. So I've got a question. If you were seriously injured, do you know what your case could be worth? It could be millions. But dealing with traditional law firms? Yeah, that's a whole different kind of headache. Paperwork, endless phone calls, waiting weeks just for an update? It's frustrating and time-consuming. And worse, many firms settle for lowball offers instead of fighting for what you truly deserve. That's where Morgan & Morgan come in. They're America's largest injury law firm with over 1,000 attorneys nationwide. And unlike other firms, they're built for the people, meaning they fight to get you the best possible results if you become their client. I mean, just recently, they won $12 million in Florida, 34 times the highest insurance offer, and in Philly, $26 million, 40 times the initial offer. And the best part? You pay absolutely nothing unless you win. That's right, no upfront fees, no hidden costs, nothing. And starting your claim? It's really easy. You can click the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen. You can submit everything in minutes, right on your phone. So if you've been seriously injured, your case could be worth millions. So don't wait, because your life could change in just a few clicks. You can start your claim today with Morgan & Morgan at www.forthepeople.com/ASC or scan the QR code now. If you're looking for like a 30 for 30 story, this is it. Shedeur Sanders wasn't just any quarterback. He was the son of, well...
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Atlanta Falcons, please welcome Shedeur Sanders.
I was kind of scared. I thought Detroit was going to take me. I would have asked for so much money that they had to put me on layaway.
On layaway,
Who is the real Deion? He's just like James Brown. He's real. He's real.
NFL legend, charisma machine, cultural icon, and most importantly for Shedeur, coach.
Primetime Shedeur Sanders was officially introduced as the head coach of the Jackson State football team this morning.
As a 4-star recruit, Shedeur would start his collegiate career, committing to play for Florida Atlantic before flipping to follow his dad to Jackson State and HBCU, where he didn't just play well, he broke records, revived programs, and made headlines.
Here it is, heaving it up in the end zone, trying to get it! He makes the catch! Touchdown! Jackson State!
He's incredible.
Over Shedeur's 2 seasons as a starter, the Tigers went 11-2 and 12-1, with the back-to-back SWAC conference titles. Then, in 2023, he followed his dad to the University of Colorado.
I'm thrilled to welcome Coach Prime Sanders, to the University of Colorado as our 25th full-time head football coach.
Shedeur Sanders was given the opportunity to take over as the head coach of the Buffaloes, a program reaching for air with just 2 winning seasons since, 2005. Critics circled, could he handle real competition? Well, they would be immediately tested in the first game against 17th-ranked TCU.
Sanders looking wide open, touchdown, Dylan Edwards. Sanders off his back foot, caught, first down and more down the sideline. Stop and start, Edwards, touchdown Colorado. Whoa.
Colorado stunned the world by upsetting TCU 45-42, with Shedeur throwing for a school record 510 yards for 4 touchdowns. From there, he kept rolling.
3rd and 10 for Sanders. Steps up in the pocket. Sanders trying to race to that first down marker, eludes the tackle, and Sanders gonna strut into the end zone. And Colorado, chance to tie.
The Shedeur and Travis Hunter show became appointment viewing, just like Manziel and Evans once were. But we'll get back to that later. Colorado got off to a 3-0 start that year, but will go on to win just 1 of 8 games the rest of the season, primarily due to poor offensive line play. Shedeur, however, finished the season completing 69.3% of his passes for 3,230 yards with a 27-3 touchdown to interception ratio. Shedeur quickly became known for his flashy and confident demeanor, a chip off the old block. His signature celebration of flashing his Audemars became a staple for all of football fans and rivals. In his second and final year at Colorado, Sanders led the Buffaloes to a 9-4 record, winning 5 of their last 6 games, briefly garnering postseason buzz in the first year of the 12-team college football playoff. Ultimately, though, they would make an appearance in the Alamo Bowl, losing to BYU. But regardless of how the season ended, Shedeur, he set a program single-season record for passing yards, completion, touchdowns, and quarterback rating. He was named the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year and named the winner of the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award.
Being able to get recognized as being the best quarterback in college football, and this award right here means a lot to me. This award not only represents me, but it represents the receiver room and the whole offense.
Early mock drafts, Shedeur was a top 5 lock, maybe even number 1. Shedeur, he was beside Miami quarterback Cam Ward in those discussions. But as Ward solidified himself as the top quarterback, Sanders' status grew increasingly unclear. And then the whispers, they started. Scouts poked holes, high sack rate. Maybe he held the ball too long. His arm strength, not elite. Off the field, being Deion's son was both his shield and his target. Shedeur's status wasn't as clear to NFL teams, and skipping some of those evaluation steps, like not working out during the combine, may have proved to be more of a risk than a reward. See, that decision spoke largely to the confidence Sanders and his camp had in his status as a top pick. Shedeur did, however, work out for NFL teams at Colorado's Pro Day. He showcased an accurate deep ball but had some wobbly throws on shorter routes, which led league evaluators to describe his arm strength as good, but not great.
He's the hardest quarterback I've had to evaluate since I've gotten into TV. because 75% of his snaps don't matter, Greeny. And that's the reality for everybody that's evaluating Shedeur Sanders. Half of the snaps that he had at Colorado are thrown inside of 5 yards. It feels like when you watch his tape, every ball is thrown at the line of scrimmage. You're not drafting him in the top 5 for that, right? So throw that out. That's half the snaps. And then 25% of the snaps, the offensive line protection is so terrible that I don't care if you have Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes. You're not doing anything with that either. So you get to evaluate 25% of his snaps.
Then the infamous interview process. I mean, these reports took like wildfire. It's been widely reported that his in-person interviews were not the best. The reports would say Shedeur did not give it his all during some of the meetings, which rubbed some teams the wrong way. Josina Anderson reported that an anonymous NFL quarterbacks coach said Sanders was brash and arrogant during pre-draft interviews, while Todd McShay reported that some teams felt Sanders didn't have a professional approach during interviews. Shortly after these reports, mock drafts would verify the rumors that were spreading. Shedeur, he would begin to slide. First round, then late first. Some even had him early second.
I don't like the fact that I'm looking at a guy that has gone from speculation about being the #1 overall pick between him and Cam Ward to being maybe the #3 pick to the New York Giants, to being the #6 pick of the Las Vegas Raiders, to being #9 for the New Orleans Saints, to dropping down to 21 at the Pittsburgh Steelers, to going into mock drafts where he's going to be 29th, whether it's Mel Kiper Jr. or somebody else saying it. Okay, not that he deserves it, but they're saying that's what's projected. I'm trying to figure out what the hell is this precipitous drop all about.
But those are just mock drafts, right? They don't necessarily mean that's what teams really are thinking, right?
The 2025 NFL Draft is now officially open. The Tennessee Titans are on the clock.
As expected, Ward would be taken first overall to the Tennessee Titans. But while Shedeur seemed to still be a good bet to be the second quarterback taken, it didn't quite go like that.
The New York Giants select Jackson Dart, quarterback, Mississippi.
The New York Giants traded back into the first round at number 25 overall to take Ole Miss's Jackson Dart, which in hindsight makes sense. A lot of Ole Miss ties exist inside the Giants organization, and honestly, Dart is the type of quarterback that fits Brian Daboll's system a lot better. But then it started getting a little weird.
The New Orleans Saints select Tyler Shuck, quarterback, Louisville.
The Cleveland Browns select Dylan Gabriel,
Oh, boy.
quarterback, Oregon.
Every team who needed a quarterback or was linked to Shedeur all passed, multiple times. In all, 5 quarterbacks came off the board over the first 2 days of the draft, and Sanders was not one of them, which is something nobody could have predicted happening.
I am stunned. I thought last night when I mentioned the possibility of Shedeur Sanders maybe not being drafted in the second round, that even perhaps I would look silly a day later and he would hear his name called within the first 5 or 6 selections tonight. Scott, I understand that Deion Sanders, and there's a lot of attention being paid to him being the son of one of the most notable athletes that we have seen in the history of professional sports, but frankly, I'm stunned. I don't have a good explanation for why Shedeur Sanders has not heard his name called. I had him as the 16th rated player on my board. I haven't been doing this nearly as long as Mel Kiper, but I can't imagine there have been too many instances where the 16th rated player on a big board is still available on day 3. You're going.
But why? Why did this happen? Well, there's a few reasons. Play style issues, pocket awareness question, and his ability to avoid sacks was doubted. Were Cam Ward, Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe, were they the safer options? Or was it the interviews? Just behind closed doors, teams weren't sold. Or was it because of his last name? Like it or not, his father, Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, played a huge role in Shedeur's entire NFL draft story, for better or for worse. The positives: he received massive exposure. Playing for his dad at Colorado made Shedeur a national name. He got huge media coverage, NIL deals, brand power, stuff most college QBs can only dream about. He got elite coaching and mentorship. Deion's NFL experience gave Shedeur a ton of knowledge about how the league works, how to handle media, and how to stay mentally tough. He wasn't just some random quarterback. He carried himself like a pro from the beginning. He also installed belief and confidence. He instilled in Shedeur a real sense of I belong at the top. It's built into how he plays. But there's also the flip side to that, the perception of favoritism. Some NFL teams seriously questioned whether Shedeur was only successful because his dad built everything around him, the offense, the locker room, the entire culture. And let's be honest, Deion is polarizing. His larger-than-life personality made Shedeur have a larger-than-life personality. See, here's the thing about Deion and Shedeur. Prime, he gave Shedeur the platform and the swag to be a star. But that same connection also made some NFL teams hesitate because they weren't sure what they were really getting, the player or the brand. But on day 3, one team would finally pull the trigger.
The Cleveland Browns select Shedeur Sanders, quarterback.
Who else but Cleveland, right? And just like that, Shedeur Sanders' fall was over. Now, it's simple. It's not about where you start. It's about what you do next. Shedeur joins a Browns quarterback room that's anything but settled. Veterans, rookies, Dillon Gabriel, which still makes no sense to me to be honest, but it's the Browns. Realistically, this is where legends are made or forgotten, because sometimes the chip on your shoulder is the best tool you have. Tom Brady knows it, so does Lamar. And now, Shedeur knows it too. See, this isn't just another what could have been story. At least to me, this is a watch what happens next kind of story. It doesn't matter if you're the number 1 pick or number 144. The journey is long. And in the NFL, it's not about where you start, but it's about how you finish.